sound is quiet,
flying by night,
scorching the dark on wings of fire.
There was a headland
that towered above the sea,
and upon it,
a burial mound,
blocked with barriers,
and turreted with rock,
that none might enter. None save the dragon,
who dwelt there,
lone guardian of a treasure
no
man has seen.
One night, as he lay within,
coiled in slumber,
Boldly
cunningly,
crept in a stranger,
from
the dim vault,
blazed upon him,
a wonder of wealth.
jeweled flagon,
bowls graven with weird imagery,
golden goblets, whose shine the long centuries had not tarnished,
From many a battered helmet, the boar's head glaring, whispering of old wars,
of the clashing of shield
and the bite of flashing sword.
One goblet he stole, and a heap of rings, and stealthily made off.
Then the dragon, twilight foe,
Fiery flyer in darkness,
awoke!
tricked of his treasure,
Angrily he prowled,
over the headland,
sniffling the ground, devouring the track of his enemy. But none could he find.
at nightfall,
When the day star was darkened,
the candle of the world snuffed out,
revengeful, riotous with rage, he went forth in flame,
breathing out ruin.
snorting hurricane. Villages he burnt,
He laid waste the land,
the palace of Beowulf.
proud gave throne of his people.
He swamped in waves of fire. Oh, terrible was the king's anger.
In his heart,
The wrathful embers flared.
commanded an iron shield be made,
for well he knew that linden wood must work.
and shrivel in heat.
With his chosen warriors,
He marched to the dragon's den,
the mound on the headland.
beside the surging sea.
Upon a hillock he sat, and waited for the dragon.
Then for the last time he spoke to his warriors.
Greeting them man by man.
Dearest comrades, I am ready now. Let the dragon face me if he dares. But his breath is fire, all swollen with poisonous blasts. And I need my battle steel, my stout mail coat, and thick plated shield. You, my warriors, hold steady and patient on the headland and watch. This fight is none of yours, unless fate shall deal me death.
Then the hero,
Stern under his gleaming helmet,
with his stout mail coat and thick plated shield, strode out to meet his foe. Toward the mound he moved, the rock rampart cleft with arch of stone.
he halted. In a loud voice,
He shouted his battle cry.
Ah!
Then the dragon awoke,
crackling he uncurled.
like a clash of shield upon shield.
He uncoiled his scaly length,
With thunder clapping sound, he twisted through the arch.
spitting flame.
He blackened the rampart. He scorched and burnt the grass, as round and round madly
He bounded upon the
bruised ground,
Then Beowulf,
wreathed in smoke and fire, ran upon the dragon.
shielded,
Brandishing his sword, he struck him mightily,
the keen edge bit on the scales.
and glanced aside, but roused his dreadful wrath. Uprearing, he flapped wide his monstrous wings. He bore down on the pygmy king,
Till Beowulf,
choked in a frenzy of smoke and flame, scarce could breathe. He stumbled,
he gasped for air.
then the warriors,
His friends on the headland,
chieftain's son whom he himself had chosen.
Sore pressed, his strength waning,
forsook him.
in terror for their lives, they would take to the woods.
All but Wiglaf,
Kinsman of the king.
whose spirit cried out that his master should thus suffer.
His hand seized the shield,
the frail linden wood.
he drew his sword, called to his comrades.
Stay, fellow warriors! The king needs us now as never before. Is this the time to desert him? Turn now, O comrades, and fight!
But they shrank from his chiding,
And cringed among the trees,
then cried Wiglaf.
in torment of soul.
Shame upon you! Do your coward hearts knock upon your ribs so loud you cannot hear me?
Then he turned from them and called into the smoke and fire.
Beloved king, awake the old might of your hand.
And Wiglaf,
Plunged into the smoke,
until he stood
where he loved best to be,
by his master's side, in the whiplash and flogging of flame.
steadfast together they fought. Between the king and the fiery dragon, he thrust his linden shield,
The lightning licked it,
shriveled it up like shavings thrown to the fire. Then might Wiglaf have perished. But Beowulf,
housed him under his iron shield,
and rousing his old might,
raised high the sword.
and struck the dragon. Too strong the hand.
The steel was shivered to pieces.
With savage haste, the dragon rushed upon him.
Deep into his neck he plunged his spiked teeth.
Then Wiglaf
Unshielded,
sprang at the beast.
he thrust the sword under the scales, and drove it home to the hilt. The dragon fell back, his breathing labored,
The fire puffs.
ponderous and slow.
Then Beowulf,
Master of his waning might, drew from his mail coat.
his keen battle knife.
Locked in combat with the foe, he struck at the heart. So smiting with Wiglaf he felled him.
Together they quenched the fire.
Together beat out his loathsome life.
'Twas the last victory that fell to the king.
The last of his works in this world.
As faint from the fighting, he sank down by the wall. His wound began to spelter and swell,
The pestilent dragon's poison.
climb to the heart. Unloosing the helmet,
Wiglaf bathed the blood from Beowulf's face.
and roused him from the swoon.
His master,
His beloved king, who far gone in weariness, with distant eyes,
gazed upon Wiglaf.
well knowing his mortal day was ended and death very near.
Softly he spoke.
The wound grows cold. Quickly, Wiglaf, go to the gray stone and the treasure within. Now, the dragon is dead. Despoil him. Bring me banquet of jewels to feast my hungry eyes. Quickly, before I die.
All in haste,
Wiglaf obeyed his wounded king. Stooping under the arch, he entered the dragon's grim lair.
therein,
What wonder of wealth he saw!
Gold glittering in the darkness.
Lavish litter of goblets.
Jewels like jungle eyes sparkling. Many a rusty helmet.
and a bracelet of twisted gold.
Wiglaf loaded his lap with treasure, with flagons and goblets,
Then in haste,
brought them to the king.
But Beowulf had swooned away.
Almost had death stolen him hence.
then Beowulf,
Dashed water in his face, and woke him. Wearily the aged eyes, from the crowding shadow peering.
fastened on the gold.
For the last time,
Haltingly,
in deep anguish, the hero spoke.
Thanks be to God, the King of glory, that he granted before death day this treasure for my people. Wiglaf, when I am dead, bid my warriors to build, yonder on the whale's headland, a might mount, that brave seafarers might see it, and remembering, marvel at my deeds.
Thus he spoke,
and fumbling for the gold at his neck.
pressed it upon Wiglaf.
You are the last of our line, dear cousin. The rest have the fates swept off to their doom. Now, I follow after.
Then the valiant spirit passed from the body, winging to heaven.
And the noble Wiglaf, unmanned by grief.
His heart near to breaking.
Looked down at the master.
While the coward warriors,
Their cheeks smarting with shame,
one by one, crept from the forest,
bringing their shields and armor where the dead king lay.
in the troubled silence.
They watched Wiglaf.
In vain endeavor to revive him,
Suddenly he rounded upon them, fierce love for his lord.
flashed into rage,
His words,
lashed like a whip.
Fine requital this for his gifts in the mead hall. To think he called you brave. Oh, grimly, grimly was this treasure won. No! Your fingers must not soil it! You will build a mound upon his ashes, and bury the treasure beneath. It is fitting that you should honor him so, and keep him in your hearts. For of all the kings in the world, he was the mightiest in valor.
for of all the kings in the world,